What is up, guys? Is the mic on? All right. Just making sure this is working. So I'm doing a live feed on this Nightblade build video. This is a stamblade build video we're gonna be going over. I hope you guys enjoyed the holidays. I think I gained about 100 more pounds. So gonna be a busy new year for everybody, right? But anyway, so this is my build for the stamina Nightblade that I'm running for this patch. I'm sure this build's been thought of before. I'm not saying this is the original build. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is not. Anyways, let's jump right into the sets. I don't want to make this a long stream. Heavy Bloodspawn. This is a 5 heavy armor build with 2 medium. Okay, so we're running Bloodspawn, Hunting's Rage heavy, and 2 Bone Pirates, well, on the body. So that way we can keep, so like the medium waist and the medium gloves, everything else is going to be heavy. Bone Pirate Jewelry, all weapon enchants, Hunting's Rage front bar, Nern. We're using a Crusher enchant on the front bar. Master weapon on the back bar infused with weapon enchant. If you can't get your hands on the Master bow, run Hunting Rage bow. It's okay. So this is going to add, if you do have it, it's going to add the additional 301 against poison inject. So once you hit poison inject, it gives a little more weapon damage. I don't have a full setup here. What you do want to do is have 2 Bloodspawn. I have to switch between characters because I don't have the enough keys yet, unfortunately. But so that's the best setup. Is going to be 2 Bloodspawn instead of the 1 Kina. I'm running the 1 Kina to get an additional like damage boost. It gives you 124. And we're running 1 for recovery with health. I do want to keep the health enchant on the helmet. You want to maximize your in pen, so make sure everything is in pen. And then if you want to put 1 health glyph on your chest, you can try to max your stam out as well. This is the recovery. We're running the tower, so we can hit that 35k stam. The reason for that is because we went Argonian for this build. And Argonian is extremely strong. You get tons of resources back. It increases magicka, so you can run the Dubious. But I'm going to show you guys a different food that somebody brought up in one of my other videos, in one of the comments, and I appreciate that. The Argonian resistance is going to be extremely strong, plus a 9% extra health, so you're not as squishy, and the increased healing done. We are not running any of the Fighters Guild stuff, but these are, obviously you're going to want Vigor. This is the way I set up my back bar, by the way. The Poison Arrow, Poison Inject, I don't even have that morphed yet. I just like started off with this build on the bow. We were running dual wield, but this is a lot stronger. We have Poison Arrow. You want all your passives here for the bow. So Poison Arrow, Resolve and Vigor, Shadowy Disguise, Mirage, Leeching Strikes. And actually, for the back bar, I was running Temporal Guard from the Sigic Order, which if you don't have, I'm going to show you how you can replace that. If you guys notice, I don't have a gap closer. We're not running a gap closer. And I'm going to show you guys also right now. This is usually the main reason too you want to run 2 Bloodspawn is going to be for the higher resistance. Mirage is in case you do want not to add 2 Bloodspawn and have more damage, you can, and just replace this. But usually the way I run it is like this. And when I don't want to run Accelerate, and I usually run in a small group, like 2 to 3 guys, so it doesn't really affect me. But you get a speed buff, a really nice speed buff. And also it's given us critical or minor force for 36 seconds, so it increases our critical damage by 10%, and that's extremely strong, especially because when you're in cloak, you have that 100% crit. And usually we do go a little bit more melee, so you hit your thingy, come across, and then you want to get your damage to proc in. But I'll show you guys right now if you want to switch it off. You can have Dawnbreaker in the back bar if you want. We are not Vampire for this build. We don't have our Undaunted fully leveled. Armor, you want these 2 because you are going to be running 2 mediums or 1 medium. You can do 5-1-1 as well. We are heavy armor, so we're running all our heavy armor passives. If you wanted to go just medium armor, you can. You're going to gain whole lot more weapon damage for sure. Now we went over the bow bar, over our two-handed bar, which is our main bar here. We're running relentless focus. I'm sorry, and this gives us a really good bow proc for the spectral bow. Really good damage. Rally, executioner, surprise attack, mass hysteria, and incap. Incap, of course, you guys already know if you've been Nightblades for a while. That's a must. You say you don't want to grind the Sigic order out. That's fine. That's perfect because it sucks. You can go ahead and put Soul Tether back here, and this is a really strong CC, especially if you're outnumbered, and it has a really strong heal. So this is a really good ability to have on the back bar. The main reason for the Spectral Guard, or Temporal Guard, I'm sorry, is because you get the 8% minor protection, which reduces damage. I'll hardly ever use this, because, I mean, if I'm if I'm being pressured a lot, yeah, I'll definitely pop that and go all crazy in reverse. These are all the passives. Definitely you want this, all the passives here. I'm barely getting skill points as I go. Also, passives here. Now this is a second setup too right here. I'm going to show you guys. The shadowy image, if you wanted to run that, you could put it either here for channeled acceleration, or if you don't run cloak, and that's okay. I know a lot of Nightblades don't run cloak. If you don't have Sigic order, this bar setup right here is really strong. This right here, this ability is really good for fighting like smaller groups or large groups because it gives you that um, damage reduction against area of attacks. But mainly, you get a little bit more spell and physical resistance. So it's gonna put you right at 22k. But if you don't run it, it's cool. You can put the gap closer in that spot, or even instead of this. So this is another setup right here. And yes, I do run all these setups depending on the circumstance and the situation. Shadow Disguise and Ambush. So you still have tons of resistances when you proc this ability. 20k. We're at 20k resistances, 25k, or 2.5k impen. The reason why resistance is so high, if you guys don't know, Mass Hysteria, or any skills that you use from this, from the Shadow Tree, is gonna give you your major resolve and major ward for 6 seconds. So as long as you're surprise attacking, if you cloak, if you use this or this, you're gonna get that massive buff. So like when Bloodspawn procs, you'll get 26, 27k extra physical resistance. It's all based on procs, of course. So you could definitely put more damage and hold the resistances this high. This is another setup. Like I said, this right here is probably the best setup that most Nightblades would be comfortable with because you have the gap closer, you have the Shadow Disguise, and let me show you guys a stam recovery 1802, and our back bar is 1802 as well. Weapon damage, you guys can see it, 3292. This is without, just with our major. And let's not forget either, guys, that the relentless focus is adding the minor berserk, which increases your damage done by 8%, as well as increases your recovery. So like if you pop this and a potion, they won't stack. Your recovery is going to be steady, and the reason for that is obviously the food that we're running, which is going to be this dubious throne food, and that's going to help the bone pirate set. But, and I don't have it here, but I'm going to show you guys right now a second food that you could run that's really good, especially for this I think it's going to be a drink, obviously. Right here, spring loaded infusion. Now this is a tri-stat drink, guys. So the tri-stat, so all you're going to lose basically is the stamina recovery that this is going to give you, which is 319 stam recovery. But you're going to get magic back. You're going to get a little bit more health. You see the health here is 3511. Here's at 3724. Your stam is also going to get boosted up. Max stamina here is 3192 and here's 3458. But you're also getting magic back. So you're going to have a lot more magic here. I don't have any in the bank, so I can't show you guys how much it increases your magic from. But you're going to be looking at about 11 to 12k max magic, which is really good for Nightblades. Your health is going to be 20k outside of Citadel buff, and your stams doesn't get increased by much here, but you're still going to be pushing a decent amount. And your recovery is going to drop a tad bit by 300, so 18. You're still looking at 1.6k stam recovery, which is really good. And this build is really strong also on BGs, but that's 3567. That's in cloak, obviously. So if you guys crouch down and do the whole gank thing, you're gonna be at 3.5k weapon damage. 3.8k 3.8k weapon damage. That's this is I'm sorry guys. This is without your alliance support role thingy. So continuous attack is gonna give you an additional 10%. So that alone is you're gonna be in Cyrodiil after you take a keep or a resource, and you're not always gonna have that up 100% of the time. So 3.8k is what you're pushing, plus your bow, your master bow if you have it, which is giving you the additional 301. So you're gonna be a little bit basically at 4k weapon damage. Plus their Cyrodiil buff is gonna put you about 10% more from there. So you're still looking at a pretty good amount of weapon damage. You're looking at really good recovery. Your tooltip is decently enough high for an Argonian. Like I said, Tristat also for potions, run Tristat potions, really good. If you so that I rather run the Crusher enchant with weapon, but if you guys wanted to run poisons, you could. These unstoppable or immovable reverse pots basically. They're escapist poison. They immobilize your target. They slow down your target and they drain the stam. You can get rid of the drain stam. But this is really good for those runner builds. There's a lot of runner builds out right now. But if you don't want to run poisons, don't. I prefer the Crusher enchant. I'm going to show you guys right now. Okay, wrong button. Wow. That's my setup. Okay, here we go. So you guys can see the physical penetrations at 14.6. But we can get it, if I can get a full proc on this. Let's just hit this guy over here. Oh, there we go. Then we wait for the thing to register. Takes a little bit. Okay, there we go. And so we're right here, 14.6k physical penetration. Weapon damage maxed out at 3567. We didn't use our light bow proc here. Surprise attack hit for 24k. And obviously, like it did crit. You can see crit 1 out of 2. So 50% crit. Obviously, if you wanted to incap somebody from crit, you would do it from stealth. So 38, 35, and then if you cloak out, obviously you get more. But that's just too cheesy. 41, 54, that's a lot to do. We proc this right here. And then wait for the numbers to pop so we can see the spectral bow. Assassin's Scourge, 16k, no crit. So that's a pretty hard spectral bow right there, or Assassin's Scourge, I guess is the proper. We're still looking at the same amount of penetration. Our max weapon damage, 4154. Like I said, this is a lot of work to get there. It's a little bit more if you count in the poison inject, the 301. So 4.3 plus your Cyrodiil buff. So you know it still pushes out a lot of damage, but that's a lot of work to get it there. I just prefer to keep it. Most of the time you're not gonna be, but if you get good with the cloaking, you can cloak in and out of the fights. Spectral bow is hitting hard. Penetration is extremely high. But if you guys wanted it, you lose out a little bit of weapon damage if you take Molekine out, but you'll gain a lot more resistances. It's already decently tanky, so it's not like a squishy build. Anyways, let's jump right into the champion point setup that I have. I don't have all my CPs in yet. Still working on getting max CP. Warlord 15%. Probably want to push to 17% here. 17% I think is the soft cap if I'm not mistaken. Siphoner, we got a few points into Siphoner. The setup right here is also like pretty basic from the CP. We have the Befoul increases that incap befoulness, which is nasty. The healing reduction. We got points into tumbling, some points into blocking. You guys already know it gets rounded down on the CP, so make sure you don't have the CP like I do. Make sure you have your highest percentage, otherwise it won't account for all the other CP that you put in. But otherwise, it's still a pretty basic setup. There we go, 9% crit. We still give this high, so we want really high crit heals, and you still want to hit really crit, really high crit damage. Is basically Ironclad. If you guys can push it to like, I think it's 66. Wow, I don't have enough. 66 points here to maximize. Thick-skinned, I think you should probably go with 32 here, seeing that we're Argonian, but if you're Red Guard, quick recovery is going to be nice. Wow, look at that. I could have added more points here. So if you see this, it says 0.9%. And in this CP, it's actually registering as 0%. So that 9.9% is not being added into your actual build. So you guys don't know, there's something with the CP system that works that way. So the next point would put me at 1.20%, but it's only going to be registering that 1%. So it rounds it down. Make sure you guys don't have extra CP laying around while it's being rounded down. That's the CP setup. This is the gear. This is exactly what I run. Like I don't have anything else. I don't even have different gear on, and I just went live to show you guys. But like I said, I'm pretty sure this build has already been around. This is a basic setup, guys. Bone Pirate and Hunting's Rage. That's it. And then you could put a Kina and a Velodrith, more damage. 2 Bloodspawn, more resistance. 2 Selines for the extra proc. 2 Velodrith. I mean, basically, whatever you're more comfortable with. This is a basic setup. Um, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. If you guys want, like, replace your Mundus, you can. I prefer to have the extra stam, the extra tooltip, which higher tooltip increases your weapon damage as well. Not like in the stat sheet, but Um, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. Again, I'm open to criticism, so feel free to comment on there if something's wrong with the build or how I can improve it to make it better. Some people might think I don't listen, but I do. I take your advice, and I do farm the sets, and I do test myself. So I really appreciate all of you guys that have helped me. Like this food, I didn't even know this food existed. I've been out of the food spectrum since I switched to PC. I've been so worried about my grind and getting my CP back up. But this is it right here. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed your holidays, man. Happy New Year to everybody, and hopefully I can catch you guys out there. All right. Thank you for your support, guys. See you again next time.